Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse podcast brought to you by CATS Consultants, keeping your pulse on success. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, and I'm joined today with Dr. Troy Fox. It's good to see everybody out there. Troy, how you doing?
I am doing great. You know, it's kind of funny because I look like I'm bright red in the face, like I'm embarrassed, and you look like a stallion. Look at that. Clear skin, ready to go. Maybe it's the lighting. I don't know.
Lots of supplements.
Lots of supplements. There you go.
There you go. Did we get any questions this week?
We did. I got a really good one, and this is a little lengthy, so I'm just going to paraphrase what was asked. So basically, this is a practice that I kind of did, what a lot of people have done in the past, and they're asking. So here's our new patient procedure. A patient comes in the door, they sit down, and they fill out paperwork. Once they get done with paperwork, I take them into the consult room. And we do a 10 or 15 minute consult trying to figure out, exactly what's going on with the patient. And then we take them back for an exam. And it seems like what I'm seeing in my practice is that patients seem to know a lot more than they did 5 or 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like what I'm doing is a bit redundant. So the question is what I'm doing with patients right now still the appropriate method, or is there a better or a more streamlined method to working with my new patients as they come in and through my facility?
That's a great question. It is a big question. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack there. So we at CATS, we spend a lot of time studying consumer buying habits and where consumers' mentality and things are right now. And because the information available at your fingertips via the computer and the internet today, people are super educated and do a lot of their own research before they become a buyer or a patient, whatever it may be. So yeah, you're right. Patients know a lot about chiropractic care before they come in. So now let's backtrack just a little bit. Years ago, we did consultations. That was kind of everybody's going to shoot me for saying this, but that was kind of our opportunity to have the patient one-on-one a little bit so we could kind of sell them, if you will, on chiropractic and kind of help them understand chiropractic a little bit. We pulled out the plastic spine and, we did all that kind of stuff. And, and then on day 2, we did the same thing in the report of findings. But so the consultation definitely had its place, and maybe it still does. I don't know that it really goes away, but I think we can become a lot more efficient with our time now, playing on the fact that the consumer, the patient, really already kind of has an idea about chiropractic, probably when they come in, as well as whether or not they think chiropractic may be able to help them. Trust me, they've looked it up on Google, they've watched the videos on YouTube, and they're already probably a little educated. So being more efficient can be very important in today's practice, because with lower reimbursement and things, a lot of us are kind of in that pocket of how can we see more patients without degrading the amount of time we need with a patient to get the good outcomes. And so we've got to get efficient in other areas. And the consultation is one of those areas that I think you really can get efficient. Think about when the patient comes in, they've already got their paperwork filled out. And what's on that paperwork? Well, they're giving you information about their health history, their condition history, their social history, all those kind of things. I don't have to go through all that. Everybody knows what's on the paperwork.
Yes. So let's back up to the health history real quick. If you're not doing it already and you don't have software that does have the ability to do this, I would highly recommend that you get something that when a patient schedules online, that they can actually fill out paperwork at their leisure before they come into the office. So much easier to do the night before an appointment. I've done this, when I've gone to a doctor's office before. I fill out the paperwork. When I went to my new dentist, they just sent me the paperwork online. I filled it out online. I didn't have to print out a PDF.
I did that for years,
It's already right there, and I can just punch down through the list. That is a huge advantage. And I will tell you that patients have told us, and we've seen it in surveys that have been done as well, patients are more likely to choose your office when they have online paperwork that they can fill out and just hit send. and it already sends it to you, and that paperwork is there. So when they walk in the door, they're ready to see you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of step one. And then we go into the consult and exam. What are your thoughts on that so far as consult and exam nowadays?
Well, I think you can kind of combine the two, because what are you doing when you go into an exam? You verify the health history, verify what's on the paperwork, you talk to the patient about their condition, and then that leads you down the path of what orthopedic and neurological testing, posture testing, whatever that you may
Right.
want to do or need to do. So you can you can really combine those two functions together, especially if you're not having to spend quite so much time on selling patients. I know everybody hates that word, but
Mm-hmm.
convincing patients that chiropractic care is the right road. When they picked up the phone to call your office, they already knew they wanted to be a
Yeah.
patient.
And I
You're
think
just verifying that you want to take them on.
Yeah, and I think 10 or 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. Sometimes they
That's
came in
correct.
not knowing if they needed chiropractic care or not. And we did feel the need to expose them to what chiropractic care is. So sometimes it wasn't so, you can call it salesy, but we really weren't salesy. We were educational. We were teaching
Educational.
them this is what
Yep.
chiropractic is, and this is why I see your case as a chiropractic case. But I don't
Mhm.
think I agree with you. I don't think we need that as much because Google has really solved that problem for us.
It really has. And, today's patients are incredibly intelligent when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to knowing what they want or what they think they need. And
Right.
so they're coming to you to verify whether or not that need is fulfillable. And
Yeah.
how do you know if you're going to be able to help that patient? Well, that happens in your exam.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
pull your exam more up front and talk to the patient while you're doing the exam. And hey, if you've got staff, you can have your staff help you with this function. You can be adjusting a patient while your staff is doing some history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to do a posture scan and a surface EMG and those kind of things. My staff would do some of those components for me. And then I'd come in to the exam. I'm ready to do all the orthopedics and the neurologicals, but I'm also talking to the patient. I'm verifying history and how their problem came about, and what function they've lost and those kind of things. And you can be in and out of an exam a lot of times in 5 to 7 minutes or less. And what does that mean? That means you're
Right.
right back to adjusting patients again, and you didn't spend 30 minutes or more just trying to get through the consultation and exam.
And even if you're running solo, you can still be through that exam with questions as long as you're expeditious with what you do. You're not
Exactly.
talking about the weather. You're not talking about, a litany of other subjects that aren't pertaining. You keep driving the car, even if the patient tries to steer away, you keep driving. In most cases with an exam, the patient doesn't steer away. They usually are on task. Sometimes they give you too much information and you have to
Right.
redirect them. But even with that said, you should have good enough memory that you should be able to go through an orthopedic exam, verify what's on the history in the exam, and then when you finish that up, you have 3 to 4 minutes at the end of that to be able to document all that in your software.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like with my software, I can do voice recognition on my
Yeah.
software, so I can just get down to that part where we start talking about that, click, 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 and I can just voice in those areas. 3 or 4 minutes. Now we've taken what used to be, because think about this, we had paperwork being filled out. That's gone now. All right. So now we don't go, oh man, I'm ready to see that patient right now, but they're still filling out paperwork. I'm ahead of schedule. If you're ahead of schedule and that patient comes 10 minutes before, you're ready to see them. So we get rid of that 15 minutes. We get rid of the 15 minutes that we're doing a consult in. Now we're really boiled down to 15 to 20 minutes for an exam max. I mean,
Yeah,
for
max.
me, and that's max. So we have just taken 45 minutes and boiled it down into 15. How many more patients can you see a day?
Oh yeah, it really opens up your capacity, and
Yep.
when you don't spend as much time in that educational component, you will remember all the tests that you did, whether they were positive or not. And Troy, you're spot on. You come out of the exam, you go right to your EHR, you document it all. It's
Yep.
now all in, and you're on to the next adjustment.
Yeah, and don't wait until the evening to do that one. I get sometimes after we've seen a patient, we may go, I'm busy right now. I'm going on to the next patient. There was a few things I wanted to add into their note, and you can remember that and complete the note later in the day. When it comes to an exam, I want to make sure that I document every single little detail, because sometimes that'll come back to you if you don't, and you'll miss that one little thing that they had right knee pain. You did an orthopedic and there was nothing there, but then you kind of forget about it. And so for me, I want to make sure I document all that we did orthopedics on the knee, and the orthopedics were negative, but there was tenderness, when we did the knee through range of motion. So maybe there was a little inflammation, spasm, whatever, but I want to make sure I document that. And sometimes you miss it. If orthopedics are negative, sometimes in our mind we go, oh, no problem.
Right.
So yeah.
And if you're a single practitioner, I'm gonna give you, and maybe you only have one staff or no staff, which is becoming a popular thing. I'm gonna give you a little pearl here. So listen in close. The night before the patient's going to come in, pick up the phone at the end of your day, pick up the phone and call them. Just a courtesy call. Hi, this is Dr. Perusich. I saw that you're on my schedule tomorrow. I just wanted to call and introduce myself and let you know I'm looking forward to meeting you. If you have a couple minutes, I'd love to understand what's going on and how we might be able to help you. Boom. You get your history over the phone. Of course, you're going to confirm it in person, but you get a little bit of history over the phone. Now you've already got things going, and you did it at a time when you're not busy, because you're at the end of your day, and it can really help make your time efficient when you're seeing patients.
Did you guys hear that? I mean, that is just genius right there, because you're relaxed. You're at the end of your day. Maybe you're tired, but we've all done it. We come out of that adjusting room at the end of the day and we go, oh, okay, I still got some notes to write. Maybe you don't. Maybe you did them all right then. But at that point, you're actually a little bit more relaxed than you've been all day long. What a perfect time to make that call. And what do you think your patient's going to think at that point?
You're a rock star.
You're a rock star. And what is our goal? Our goal is to create a patient that understands chiropractic and understands the process. Our job is not to sell somebody on chiropractic and then abandon them.
Nope.
So I love that concept. So if I'm going to have a patient, I want a patient to understand why they're getting chiropractic. The human compassion portion of that right at the very beginning lets that patient know where you stand so far as the amount of care that you want to give to that patient. You want to give great care, and you're concerned about them right up front. I think it's fantastic.
And the patient's coming in the next day. They've already met you over the phone. They're a lot more relaxed, because how many of those first day patients come in and they're kind of nervous? They're a lot more relaxed, and they've already got you up here as somebody who really cares about them. So
yeah, you're the first doctor that's ever called them before they even came in. Yeah, I love it. And I do love the calls after an adjustment as well, to talk to that patient. You have no idea how important that is, because if you think about it from a sales standpoint, we spend 90% of our effort on sales, right? And 10%
every
on
business does.
Every business does. So
like it or not.
If you call a patient, and I get that, a lot of surgeons will call patients after a surgery. Patients are kind of used to that, because that's kind of the norm. But you know what that is? That's called CYA.
Yeah.
That's called covering your butt after surgery, making sure that you don't have a major complication. You want to hear that patient's voice and hear everything's okay. I'm not having any problems, because if they are, you need to get them back in there before it becomes a major problem. With the chiropractic, with the chiropractic adjustment, that's not what we're worried about. But what we are concerned about is the fact that a chiropractic patient might feel worse after their first adjustment. Okay,
and
well,
are
that's
they doing?
that's
you
normal.
want to remind them. Yeah, you want to remind them too what you told them to do at home.
Exactly. So, are you doing what I asked you to do? Are you icing at home? Are you doing combination therapy? Are you rolling around on a ball? Whatever I told him to do at home. Are you following my recommendations? What a great time to ask that. And then the patient gets off the phone. What do they think? Exactly what you just portrayed. He cares about me. And that's so important to a patient. And I think it's important to your practice. So we kind of got a little off track there because we were talking about consult and exam combined, but I mean, really, there's a whole package that you provide to patients. And if you think those nuggets are interesting, you got to hear what else we have to offer. we are cutting edge at CATS.
Yes,
when it comes to what we do. And, you know, Dr. Perusich has researched consumer habits. We've researched, Marissa has researched consumer habits so far as social media goes. There is a lot that goes into today's practice. What's great is you don't have to go out to Walmart and sit out there and do a spinal screening to reach patients anymore. But what you do have to do is show how much you care and provide great patient care to patients. And that's
be efficient with your time in your practice.
Absolutely.
Because
if you're not efficient with your time, you lose money.
Yep, absolutely.
And we talked about that. Yeah. So that was really fantastic. And that could lead into 100 different, spiderweb directions. But I mean, that is really a great question, because a lot of practices are still doing that 45-minute to where it takes the patient an hour and 15 to get in and out. We can't do that with patients. Patients are way more fast paced nowadays.
Yep. That's another portion of consumer buying habits. So
yep, exactly.
Awesome question. Well, thank you, whoever sent that in. We appreciate that. So it was a very good one. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the KC CHIROpulse podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants, helping you keep your pulse on success. Check us out at catsconsultants.com. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, Dr. Troy Fox today. Thanks for tuning in. Stay informed and well adjusted.
We'll see you.